Renewable Energy Act. We have here different laws that promote renewable energy. We have a Republic Act number 9.13, an act promoting the development, utilization, and commercialization of renewable energy resources and for other purposes. We also have here Republic Act number 10121. Okay, this is the National Risk Reduction and Management System. We also have Republic Act number 9003, which is the Solid Waste Management and Waste to Energy. We also have Republic Act number 9275, which is the Philippine Clean Water Act. Now, what can renewable energy offer to us? It offers a substitute or option established in conventional fossil fuels, such as, for example, coal, natural gas, and petroleum. The development is to swing to renewable energy, also known as the green energy or clean energy. The government organizations commissioned to implement the law includes the Department of Energy or DOE. We also have the Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC, National Renewable Energy Board, right? The fiscal and non-fiscal incentives in promoting the efficient and effective application of renewable energy resources include income tax holiday, duty-free importation of renewable machinery, equipment, and materials. Then we also have a special royalty tax rates, then net operating loss carryover, and corporate tax rate of 10%, accelerated depreciation of plant, machinery, and equipment, 0% value-added tax rate, tax exemption on carbon credits, cash incentive for machinery electrification, solid waste. These are materials such as household garbage, food waste, yard waste, and demolition and construction debris, waste that are not liquid or gaseous. All the discarded solid materials from municipal, industrial, and agricultural activities. Okay, Ecological Solid Waste Management 2000, enact providing for an ecological solid waste management program, creating necessary institutional mechanisms and incentives, declaring certain acts prohibited and providing penalties, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Basic policies ensure the proper segregation, collection, transport, storage, treatment, and disposal of solid waste through the formulation and adoption of the best environmental practice, ensure the protection of public health and the environment, encourage greater private sector participation in solid waste management, encourage cooperation and self-regulation among waste generators through the application of market-based instruments. Role of the local government unit in solid waste management. We have it in the Republic Act number 7160, the local government code. The LGUs shall be primarily responsible for the implementation and enforcement of the provisions of this act within their respective jurisdictions. Segregation and collection of solid waste shall be conducted at the barangay level specifically for biodegradable, compostable, and reusable waste, provided that the collection of non-recyclable materials and special waste shall be the responsibility of the municipality or city. Section 11, Provincial Solid Waste Management Board. A provincial solid waste management board shall be established in every province to be chaired by the governor. Solid Section 1 or 21, Mandatory Segregation of Solid Waste. LGs shall evaluate alternative roles for the public and private sectors in providing collection services, types of collection system, or combination of systems that best meet their needs. Section 57, Business and Industry Role. The Commission shall encourage commercial and industrial establishments participate and invest in integrated ecological solid waste management projects to manufacture environment-friendly products, to introduce, develop, and adopt innovative processes that shall recycle and reuse materials, conserve raw materials and energy, reduce weight, and prevent pollution, and to undertake community activities to promote, propagate effective solid waste management practices. Philippine environmental laws. Right, we have the Presidential Decree number 1586 for establishing an environmental impact statement system on 1978, Republic Act 8749, the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999, Republic Act 9275, Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004, Republic Act 6969, that's the Toxic Substances Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990. Republic Act 9003, that's the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. You have the Republic Act 9729, the Climate Change Act of 2009, Republic Act 9512, the National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008, and Republic Act number 8550, or the Philippine Fisheries Code of 1998. Prohibited acts, fines, and penalties, Republic Act 9003, Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, or Section 48, prohibited acts, we have the littering, throwing, dumping of waste matters in public places as roads, sidewalks, canals, terraces, or parks, and establish or causing or permitting the same. For Section 49, fines and penalties for this would be 300 pesos to 1,000, or community service for 1 to 15 days. Another is number 2 of Section 48, prohibited acts, undertaking activities or operating, collecting, or transporting equipment in violation of sanitation operation other requirements or permits set forth in established pursuant. And the fine and penalty for this will be 300 pesos to 1,000 pesos, or imprisonment to 1 to 15 days, as well as the open burning of solid waste. Number 4, prohibited act is causing or permitting the collection of non-segregated or unsorted waste, squatting in open dams and landfills, open dumping, burying of biodegradable or non-biodegradable materials in flood areas, and unauthorized removal of recyclable material intended for collection by authorized persons. The fines and penalties for this would be 1,000 to 3,000 pesos, and it could also be imprisonment for 15 days to 6 months. Number 8, prohibited act is the mixing of source separated recyclable material with other solid waste in vehicle, bags, container, or receptacle used in solid waste collection or disposal. Establishment or operation of open dams is enjoined in this act, or closure of said dams in violation of Section 37. The manufacture, distribution, and use of not environmentally acceptable packaging materials, importation of consumer products packaged in non-environmentally acceptable materials. Fines and penalties for this would be 500,000 plus, or imprisonment to 1 to 2 years. Then another prohibited act would be importation of toxic waste misrepresented as recyclable or with recyclable content. Then number 13, transport and dumping in bulk of collected domestic, industrial, commercial, and institutional waste in areas other than centers or facilities prescribed under this act. The fines and penalties is 10,000 pesos to 200,000 pesos. Imprisonment will be 30 days to 3 years or both. Number 14, the prohibited act is site preparation, construction, expansion, or operation of waste management facilities without an environmental compliance certificate required pursuant to Presidential Decree number 1586, and this act and not conforming with the land use plan of the LGU. Number 15, the construction of any establishment within 200 meters from open dams or controlled dams or sanitary landfill. And 16, the construction or operation of landfills or any waste disposal facility on any aquifer, groundwater reservoir, or watershed area or any portions thereof. The fine and penalties for this are 100,000 pesos to 1 million pesos, and could also be imprisonment from 1 to 6 years. Waste to energy. The process of generating energy in the form of electricity and or heat from the primarily treatment of waste. Waste to energy, environmental and economic challenges, continued population growth, climate change or global warming, dependence on fossil fuels, proper waste disposal. Energy from wasted method, it should be a safe economic waste disposal, greenhouse gas reduction, and renewable energy. Waste management methods, composting, waste minimization, reuse, recycle, and of course, landfill. Waste can include residential, commercial, industrial, institutional construction, demolition, and it will also be agriculture. How a waste to energy plant works. Okay, we have here the illustration. The Durham region and New York region are miles away from the often the first energy from waste plant in the GTA in decades. The facility is located in Clarendon in Durham and will burn as much as 140,000 tons of household garbage. Garbage is collected at homes and businesses. Waste is delivered to the site storage of bunker. Waste is fed into combustion chamber and burned at high temperature. Heat boils water in surrounding pipes to make steam. Steam turns a turbine generator to produce electricity. Electricity is used for heating the plant or sent to the grid. Gases are fed through air pollution control equipment and that cools, collects, and cleans the gases. Gas is moved through a baghouse or fabric filter to collect particulates. Emissions are monitored from a controlled area to ensure compliance. Ash is collected, metals are extracted for recycling, leftover ash is used or disposed of in a landfill. The waste hierarchy we have reduced, okay, just the most preferred, zero waste. The amount of waste produced and can also be reused materials as much as possible. Recycled paper, plastic, glass, and cans. Recover energy from waste. Then last resort would be landfill, which is at least prepared. In summary, waste to energy is the answer for tomorrow's energy. Waste to energy process of creating garbage that we have energy and if you have heat and can create electricity. Technological selection considerations, environmental economy, energy, and waste characteristics. Okay, for Republic Act number 10121, National Risk Reduction and Management System, Act of 2010, the RRM Act, a new law which transforms the Philippines disaster management system from disaster relief and response toward disaster risk reduction or DRR. It was approved on May 21, 2010. It repealed the Presidential Decree 1566, which was enacted in 1978. Relief, food commodities, medicines, other relief support services, fuels and lubricants, emergency transportation services, communication services, and others. Recovery programs, okay, housing materials, seeds and other farm inputs, monitoring and evaluation, repair and construction, other works or services, local disaster risk reduction and management office. We have the NDRRMC, PDRRMC, MDRRMC, and BDRRMC. Disaster risk management activities. Okay, before disaster, there should be prevention, mitigation, preparedness, while for during disaster, emergency reliefs and responses. And after disaster, we have recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. Key players under RA 10121, we have the community, civil society, the national government, and of course the local government. Republic Act 9275 is the Philippine Clean Water Act, enacted in 2004. The purpose is that the Philippine Clean Act of 2004 aims to protect the country's water bodies from pollution from land-based sources such as industries and commercial establishments, agriculture and community household activities. It provides for a comprehensive and integrated strategy to prevent and minimize pollution through a multi-sectoral and participatory approach involving all the stakeholders. Objective of Republic Act 9275 is to pursue a policy of economic growth in a manner consistent with the protection, preservation, and revival of the quality of fresh, brackish, and marine waters using the frameworks of sustainable development. It endeavors to create a scenario where economic growth and environmental protection are mutually compatible. pH potential of hydrogen, dissolved oxygen or DO, biochemical oxygen demand or BOD in milligrams per liter, total suspended solids or TSS, then we have the fecal coliform or FC. These are the water quality parameters. Covered under the guideline are the following water quality parameters. Biochemical oxygen demand or BOD, it measures how much oxygen is consumed by bacteria or microbes as they break down polluted water. The sources are domestic industrial manufacturing plants, slaughterhouse, textile meat industry, pulp and paper industry, and others. Dissolved oxygen or DO, it is the concentration of oxygen dissolved in the water. The sources are algae and waves of fast-moving river fish and other beneficial aquatic organisms in a surface water body require presence of dissolved oxygen. pH or potential of hydrogens, it is the measure of the hydrogen ion concentration in liquids and pH ranges from 0 to 14. pH below 7, okay, acidic. pH above 7 is alkaline. pH 6.5 to 8.2, ideal for most organisms. Optimal range for tropical fishes is 6.5 to 8.6. pH 6.0, microorganisms decompose and begin to die, and thus plant conduits form, the food chain begins to decline. Total suspended solids or TSS, solids or substances suspended in water including slate, clay, sand, animal matter, industrial waste, and sewage. The effect is TSS, decreased water clarity. Fishes lost their ability to see and catch food and clog these gills, resulting to retardation of growth. Fecal coliform FC, these are bacteria that grow in the digestive tracts of humans and other warm-bodied animal. Its source is domestic. We have here general effluent standards. This is under section 7 of DAO 2016-08, which applies to all point sources of pollution regardless of volume that discharge to receiving body of water and is regardless of industry category. Discharge of sewage or trade effluent are prohibited or not allowed to protect waters classified as Class AA and SA. Effluent quality monitoring will cover sampling and, of course, the most critical stage of effluent quality monitoring. Samples, this must be truly representative of waste streams and must be taken properly in sufficient amounts. Sampling techniques to follow. Samples are taken from well-mixed effluent flows. Collection at the center of the channel where flow velocity is highest and possibility of setting is minimum. There should be sufficient volume to perform all required analysis. Samples are gathered in appropriate containers. Rate of kalikasan. The rate is the extraordinary remedy for environmental damages. The rule of this is states that it is incorporated as rule number 7 of the rules of procedure for environmental cases. This was adopted by the Philippine Supreme Court in April 29, 2010. The nature of this writ is that of a special civil action. In terms of capability, it applies when there is damage in violation of environmental law, rule, or regulation. Further, where damage is of such magnitude as to prejudice the life, the health, or property of the inhabitants in two or more cities or provinces. On filing the petition against from a public official or employee or private individual or entities, the contents of the petition should be as follows: names and personal circumstances of the petitioners and of the respondents, if unknown and uncertain as to the factual information. Description can be made under assumed affiliation. The environmental law, rule, or regulation violated or threatened to be violated is the act of commission complaint of and environmental damage sustained. The evidences to be attached should include but not limited to affidavits of witnesses, documentary evidences, scientific or other expert studies, and other evidences. It includes a certification of non-forum shopping, reliefs that are prayed for, which may include a prayer for the issuance of a temporary environmental protection order or TEPO. The ultimate relief to be prayed for or be granted by the court may include the following: permanent cease and desist order, order for rehabilitation or restoration of damage, order for the respondents to make periodic reports on strict compliance with court orders and decisions. Just other reliefs except that the court will not grant an award for personal damages may be claimed in a separate civil action. Features of the writ of kalikasan, a homegrown judicial remedy available only in the Philippines. Summary in nature, expedited in disposition of cases. Liberal rule on locus stand. Organizations can stand in representation of communities or those who suffered actual damage. No docket fee required to be paid by petitioner to strike a balance between ecological and economic development concerns. Allows submission of memorandum through email.